evening and a warm welcome back to Surbiton High School. It's such a delight to have the parents back in the school, and I hope you're pleased to be back in the building and long may it last. It's been lovely having the girls back in the school today and hearing the buzz around the corridors and the chatter as the girls came into school. So I am hoping that this year will be as normal as possible, and we had the co-curricular fair this lunchtime and we have another one tomorrow lunchtime, so we're hoping that all of those co-curricular opportunities, the drama, the music, the sports, the arts, will continue as normal this academic year. I just want to talk to you a little bit about COVID because we can't get away from it before I move on to a few other things. The responsibility for COVID now very much is in your hands and doing the lateral flow test with your daughters twice a week. We have approximately 20 cases of COVID positive in school at the moment, which is sort of the average at this point, but we do imagine over the course of the next couple of weeks those numbers will increase, not least because they are back in school and mixing. We no longer have the bubbles, the girls can talk to anybody they like, they can move around the school freely, and that's the way it should be. But that does mean we will have an increased infection over the course of the next couple of weeks. So can I please ask that you make sure that your daughter completes the lateral flow test at least twice a week. And if they are COVID positive, they obviously then have to isolate at home. Nobody else needs to isolate at all. Unless you are COVID positive, you should be coming into school as normal. The school also doesn't do any track and tracing, so if there is a COVID positive case of a pupil in school, the NHS does all of the track and trace, so you will not be receiving a phone call from any member of SLT asking your daughter to stay at home or letting you know there's a COVID positive case. So the girls should be in school every day unless they test positive. But please be mindful those lateral flow tests are so important, because of the girls who've currently tested positive, there's only one of them that has any symptoms, the rest are completely asymptomatic. So please do bear that in mind. Moving on to more positive news, I just want to share with you how delighted we are with the A-level and GCSE results this academic year. 100% of the Year 13 secured their first choice university, which is absolutely phenomenal. 89% of all grades were A-star A, which again is absolutely phenomenal. And 90% of the girls moved on to Russell Group universities, with the other 10% going on to the top art colleges and drama colleges. We could not have asked for any more for our Year 13s, and they very much deserve those incredible results after what has been a very difficult 18-month period with the uncertainty of not knowing whether exams would take place or not. At GCSE, our girls also did incredibly well. 56% of all grades were 9, and 97% of all grades were 9 to 7, which again is absolutely phenomenal and so well deserved for those girls in Year 11. And I'm looking forward to your daughters starting their GCSE courses this academic year and celebrating their results in a couple of years' time. Over the course of the last few days, last week, as a staff, we worked on looking at the values of Surbiton High School, and I think we have recognised that over the last 18 months, those values have changed. And I think fundamentally having a happy pupil in school means that they will thrive and do well. And you will know how strongly we support the girls pastorally, and we have enhanced that pastoral team over the course of the last 18 months. We've added new tutors and deputy tutors to forms, we've increased our welfare team, adding new counsellors to the school. But what we wanted to look at as a staff body, and then working with the pupils over the last 24 hours, is looking at those values and what we value truly at Surbiton High School. And some of the things that have come through both from the pupil body and the staff body are things like honesty, integrity and respect. And some of those keywords we're going to be weaving into things that we do over the course of the next 12 months and beyond. So we're very much working as a community to develop what our values are going to look like over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. And we'll go back to those values when we need to with the girls and with parents and with our staff body. You will know that your daughter is in very safe hands with the amazing pastoral team that we have sitting alongside me, and the wonderful head of years, Ms. Kears, who's going to speak to you in a moment. But I just wanted to talk to you very briefly about homeschool communication. We absolutely pride ourselves on the communication that we have with parents, and we very much have an open door policy. So my plea to you now is, please make sure that if you have a concern at home, that you let the school know straight away. Or if there are things that you would like to celebrate at home that we're not aware of, that you let us know straight away, so that we can address those things in school, whether it's the good things or the things that need addressing. We need to work in that triangular approach with your daughter, the teachers and yourselves, and only by doing so will we get the best out of the girls over the next 2 to 4 years whilst they remain at Surbiton High School. It's lovely to have you back in the hall, it's lovely to see some familiar faces, and I do hope over the course of this academic year I will see you many more times, whether it's at the drama productions, on the sporting fields, at the musical events, at the academic events, or some of the Parents Association events that are held throughout the year. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I'm going to pass you over to Ms. Kears, who's going to tell you a little bit about what happens in Year 10.
Well, it certainly is a warm welcome. Welcome one and all. This is, I think, the first time I've managed to speak to a Year 10 group in 4 years, so I'm going to relish it. We hope that you're all keeping really safe, and so I would feel remiss if I didn't maintain that safety by forgetting to tell you that we have exits from this hall down the centre of the tiered seating, either side of the stage, and then to your right at the side there. No doubt you're eyeing them up. That's where you're going to get some fresh air soon. So today, for Year 10, it was no doubt full of, golly, we're actually really in Year 10. How on earth did we get here? Hang on a minute, wasn't I in Year 7 yesterday? And how come my blazer doesn't fit me anymore? So we can look back with nostalgia, and we can also look forward with anticipation, excitement, determination, relief. But we can start again where it really matters, and with a sense that this really is where it all begins. So before we begin our journey together, I thought you'd like to see where we're going to end up at the end of Year 11. Some spontaneous reactions of our Year 11 girls caught on camera as they opened their GCSE results post and pre-COVID. So that's where we're going. And after tonight, you'll hopefully have a better idea of how we're going to get there. And as head of year for the next 2 GCSEs, and on behalf of the hand-picked form tutors you see before you, I welcome you and our Year 10 pupils to the most important stage of their school career to date, the GCSE years, Years 10 and 11. So, what is studying for GCSEs all about? What's your daughter aiming for? What can be expected from Surbiton High School? What can Surbiton High School expect from our Year 10 pupils? Miss Jeffries? Mr. Sayer, Mr. Sebastian, Mrs. Sutherland, Mrs. Bourgeois-Williams, Mrs. Isari, and Miss Rashley. Make up the Year 10 tutor team like no other. And like each individual Ribena Berry, they are hand-picked for their quality. Only the best get in. They will be guiding, supporting, advising, counselling, mentoring, and encouraging your daughter throughout the next 2 years. And as such, they are both your daughters and your first port of call for anything you wish to share with us. Your daughter's form tutor will expect to be contacted about friendship problems, routine absence, lost property, requests for work to be sent home during prolonged absence, etc. And anything else which you deem important enough in order to help the form tutor better support your daughter. At the end of the presentation this evening, you will have the chance to meet your daughter's form tutor downstairs in the dining room over refreshments. Our winning team is not complete without mentioning the two superfruits. If the team are Ribena berries, then Mr. Sayer and Mrs. Asari are the blueberries, the two assistant heads of year who keep the cogs turning and the machine whirring. In our winning team, we also have a fantastic learning enrichment department. We have Mrs. Kate Sharp, head of examinations, and her team. We have Mr. Terry McDermott, the director of careers, Mr. Stuart Murphy, the vice principal in charge of pupil development and well-being. They are all dedicated to ensuring the success, well-being, and co-curricular development of your daughter. What a powerhouse. Non-examined assessment or coursework plays a big part in some subjects and is an important requirement in order for your daughter to achieve the highest grades in her GCSE subjects. The school operates an academic integrity policy to support students in the correct preparation of their work. Academic integrity extends beyond school and is a skill that should be acquired and adhered to for life. It is a serious matter, and subject teachers will discuss this with your daughter further when she undertakes her coursework in separate subjects. Examination boards have the power to disqualify candidates from some or all of their examinations if that candidate is found to have cheated, either by plagiarism or collusion. So please ensure that all work which is handed in is indeed your daughter's own, and then this may never need be a worry. Your daughter will be taking the Yellis test with us, and in the next few weeks, full stop. This is a performance indicator currently used by the majority of high-performing HNC schools, which helps to indicate a student's likely potential in each of her subjects at GCSE level. The data collated from Yellis will help to inform the on-target 4 grade, which will appear on all your daughter's reports, and will give your daughter a realistic focus on her academic work in each of her GCSE subjects. In Year 10, this represents a grade that your daughter is on target for at the end of Year 11. It will be bracketed across 2 grade boundaries. In Year 11, this reduces to 1 grade after the mock GCSE examinations. It's generated using a combination of MIDIAS, Yellis data, formative and summative assessment, and professional judgment. The on-target 4 grade will also appear on your daughter's reports next to a current working grade, which will reflect your daughter's current performance. The current working grade is a grade that reflects the pupil's current performance based on a range of assessment evidence, including work of an examination standard during that reporting period. Current working grade and on-target 4 grades should converge in time. In this way, both you and your daughter will be able to get a very clear picture of your daughter's progress to date, together with a clear picture for what she needs to target in particular areas of potential weakness. And to help guide your daughter towards a pathway post-GCSEs, which most benefits her strengths, your daughter will sit the Morrisby profile in April-May of next year. Mr. McDermott will brief your daughters about this in a PSHE session and will also send home a letter beforehand. The 3-hour assessment produces a report which really helps girls think about career, university and A-level options. In particular, it helps not only to reaffirm strengths, but also sometimes uncovers strengths that girls were unaware of and which can have connections to future career and subject options. Girls who do the profile are more likely to make A-level subject choices that they enjoy and can achieve the best grades in, and then identify the right university course, which helps them to make the most competitive applications. After a feedback evening where Mr. McDermott will go through the report with students and parents, the report is used in career interviews that take place in Year 11. And we have also invested much time and preparation into promoting good learning habits. We help girls reflect on their own learning and develop skills to enable them to emotionally connect with their own learning and to their fellow learners, to actively engage in the subject matter being taught and to develop ways of capitalising on their strengths. Our values permeate throughout everything we do here at Surbiton High School, in our worshipful assemblies, in how we expect girls to conduct themselves both in lessons and around the school, and in our personal, social, health and citizenship education. This is filled with wide-ranging topics which include those you see above me, as well as exam planning, drug education, work experience, which are some of the topics covered in Year 11 as well. To enable all our Year 10 pupils to access a whole array of information pertinent to them in their journey through this year, we have collated numerous documents on Shobi on their iPad for them to refer to throughout the year. So these include the Year 10 homework timetable, keeping track of GCSE current working and on-target 4 grades, PSHE and citizenship programme, and the list of GCSE exam boards and specifications, just to name a few of the tiny worded documents that you see behind me. So I consider the GCSE years to be the toughest part of your daughter's school career. Years 7 to 9, easy peasy. And the sixth form, well, our girls are studying fewer subjects for which they tend to have a real passion. Years 10 and 11, well, there's an obligatory set of subjects in which girls will be taking their first public exams, which they will be associated with for the rest of their lives. And it all starts here in Year 10. No pressure. The GCSE examinations are clearly an extremely important stepping stone to A-levels and beyond. And as such, they play a very important part in determining the subjects which our students then go on to study in the sixth form. Our leadership opportunities are vast and varied. Pupils are encouraged at every level to take on responsibility and develop their leadership skills. This also extends to taking the lead in certain instances where pupils are encouraged to be role models to the younger ones. They are also encouraged to take on responsibilities within their form groups and for themselves as they begin to take the lead in exploring the possibilities for their own futures. Ultimately, your daughters are aiming for the best GCSE grades of which they are capable. This may be a string of 7s, 8s and 9s, or it may be just simply the best grades they are able to achieve, whatever they may be. They are ultimately aiming for a collection of grades which will become the foundation of their studies at A-level in the sixth form. They're aiming for grades which they can look back on and say, yes, I'm proud of these. I couldn't have done any better. They're aiming for a sensible balance between their co-curricular activities, so netball, skiing, flute playing, singing, going to guides, helping at church socials, babysitting, etc. And their academic work, obviously. The school acknowledges that their skills and talents as young people extend far beyond the classroom and should be nurtured. However, it is a healthy balance between them and their school life which is to be advocated. The one should not suffer at the expense of the other. And lastly, what is most important, they are aiming to enjoy these 2 years in the upper school. For this, they will need the support of their parents, their friends, their teachers, and once in a while, a decent-sized bar of chocolate. So what can they expect from Surbiton High School? They can expect to be thoroughly prepared for their examinations by their subject teachers and by Mrs. Kate Sharp, the head of examinations. They can expect expert support from Mr. Terry McDermott, Director of Careers, who will be working closely with your daughters over these next 2 years. They can expect support and encouragement from their form tutors for whom your daughter is an absolute priority. They can expect expert advice and preparation for the sixth form, which allows for a smooth transition to A-level study. They can expect that Surbiton High School will be committed to ensuring that they work in the best possible learning environment for them to develop their academic capabilities to the fullest extent. So what can Surbiton High School expect from your daughters? The school expects that they respect the individual student's right to learn, that they don't interfere with other students' learning, for example, by shirking responsibilities in group work upon which a GCSE mark is dependent, by disrupting lessons with unnecessary and rude behaviour, or by causing distress to another student by what they say, do, email or text. The school expects that they respect the uniform, which they should be proudly wearing, which carries the school name with it, wherever they happen to be wearing it. The school expects that they wear their uniform with pride. The school expects them to listen to parental and teacher advice, and to follow the rules and structures in school which exist to make Surbiton High School the excellent place of learning that it is. The school expects them to contact a member of staff if they have any concerns which may affect their school life, so that we can deal with them as speedily as possible. The school expects your daughters to make the most of the provision on offer for them, and that they become the best they can be. And I'm now going to hand over to the upper school head girls who have been elected in Year 11, who will tell you exactly what it's like being part of the upper school at Surbiton High School. We have Pearl Whitehead, Tilly Irvin, Elizabeth Hunt, Shakti Witness Brown, thank you girls.
If I could go back in time and do Year 10 differently, or speak to my Year 10 self, I would tell myself not to stress out over small unnecessary things. In the beginning of the year, I tended to worry over my homework or my classes, when in reality, thanks to the amazing support from my teachers and peers, nothing was ever as bad as it seemed. Finding my own revision style that worked best for me was the most helpful thing I could do in exam season. And once I began to utilise the resources such as clinics and the learning space offered by Surbiton, I could enjoy Year 10 stress-free while still excelling academically. I found my footing and balanced my co-curricular clubs, such as rowing, with my schoolwork and social life.
If I could redo Year 10, there would be two key things that I would change. The first one being due to the stress that I felt because of exams and getting the best grades I could, my revision became tiring and tedious as the content started to build. What I wish I had done is each day make little notes and then at the weekend look over my work, so my revision would be gradually building and I wouldn't have a mountain of work left to do at the end of Year 10. The second thing I would have done is just to have enjoyed it more. Year 10 is not the be-all and end-all. It's okay to make mistakes because it's better you make them now than later. In Year 10, we get to focus on the subjects that we really enjoy. So I wish I wouldn't have focused on things that really didn't matter and just enjoyed the whole year. Because the next thing you know, you'll be giving a speech on what you wish you would have done.
So how did we manage it? One of the things I genuinely found hard in Year 10 was keeping organised, and especially as things got more difficult with online learning. Being able to keep on top of work is so beneficial, and I found that having a routine was personally very useful for me, as it really allowed me to get into the habit of managing my sports, clubs and homework. On a day-to-day basis, to-do lists really helped me a lot to focus on what was important for that day. It made sure I had everything in on time as I prioritised what was necessary and gained a small satisfaction of ticking something off. It's very useful to be organised and keeping those at home for future tests. Personally, I found that having individual subject folders for each subject really helped me organise my work from lessons, especially whilst learning at home. There are, of course, many different ways to keep organised, depending on the person, but I found trying to get into habits early on in the year made it a lot easier to progress in and enjoy Year 10.
One of the things I found most difficult going into Year 10 was actually the transition between Year 9 and 10. Obviously with other years there is a step up in the workload, but as Beth said, it's mainly just staying on top of the workload. Personally for me, the social impact between the 2 years was the biggest challenge. In Year 9 you do have split classes which do prepare you for socialising with other classes in the year, but For me, in my GCSE year, I had classes where I had none of my friends with me, and it was extremely daunting. But one of the things, the only thing I can say is, it's just a matter of breaking the ice and ripping off the band-aid, and it does get better. So I would advise your daughters to just enjoy it and get on with it, and it does improve. Thank you.
And that's why they're the upper school head girls. Okay, so true to form, they are now going to pop off and complete homework and recover from rowing training. Thank you, girls. So what is studying for GCSEs all about? It's about a partnership. It's about your daughter's dedication, mixed with our devotion. May she look forwards with excitement and look back with pride. Thank you. So you are invited downstairs. The floor is slightly slippery, so do be careful. Hopefully it's dry by now. To the dining room for refreshments and to meet your daughter's sports tutor. After which I would like to wish you a safe trip home eventually this evening. Thank you so much for coming.